Welcome to Ramblings of an Undiscovered Author. I'm your Undiscovered Author, Matthew Wooding, here to do the rambling for you. And today I'm joined by JAKe Hatmacher, author of The Unintended and A Secret Lies Deep. Now, you'll be able to find links for his books in the description below, as well as his social media if you wish to follow him outside of today's show, obviously. But without any further ado, let's go and meet JAKe Hatmacher. Joined by JAKe Hatmacher, author of The Unintended, Are You Sure, and A Secret Lies Deep. First of all, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for making time to come on.
It's great to be here.
Now, I don't think you'll mind people knowing that JAKe Hatmacher it's a pen name. It's not your real name. And when you look at that, when it's the way it's spelt, there's a unique use of capital letters. So I'm assuming that there's going to be a story behind not just the pen name, but also how it's spelt and I guess the grammar of it.
Well, you're absolutely right. The story behind it, I think, starts with the Hatmaker, or Hatmacher. But it's I changed it to Hatmacher just so it wouldn't be flat out in your face Hatmaker. But my father, who was always a quiet man, never talked about his family. I mean, rarely, if ever. And I just remember one day when my brother and I, who's 2 years older than me, just were talking with my father. Somehow it came up about his family, and that what nationality is it? Because everybody used to say, "Oh, that's German." He says, "No, it's not German." And then he says it's, and he wasn't real precise, but he finally said it's probably Slovenian. And Klobuchar, which is my real name, probably means hat maker. So that's where that came from.
Okay.
And then the JAKe, the reason that the first three letters are capitalized, those are my initials minus my confirmation name.
Oh, okay.
And so it's Jerome Alvin Klobuchar. Okay? And so I just added the E at the end because my wife keeps on calling me JAKe as a nickname.
Oh, okay.
So I just added the E, and I thought it might draw some interest if I wrote it like that.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does stand out when you see it on like Goodreads or something like that. It does catch the eye because, I mean, and I'm sure it's intended. It looks like a spelling mistake when you first see it, but when you see it repeatedly, then you can see that it is intentional. And now we know the story behind it, because that was my main thing. It's like, what is the story behind this name? Because there must be one. So, now you list, I see, as one of your hobbies as gardening. Now, I wanted to know, are you a landscape gardener where you have the hills and all that, or are you someone that sort of, early May you have your flower beds and all the flowers go in every May and then you just kind of sit and look at them all summer?
Well, it's sort of both.
Yeah.
First of all, I have mostly perennials in.
Yeah.
So that I have to add fertilizer and all that type of thing periodically to rejuvenate them. But I throw in some annuals because they last longer and that type of thing. But I guess I'll go back to my college career. I was a biology major.
Okay.
I'm actually an obstetrician gynecologist by my training.
Yeah.
But I remember in college I had to take an honors exam, and one of the professors asked me, what was I more interested in, zoology or the biology of plants? And I had to think. I said, truly, it'd be plants. Because I remember early on, and when I was a very small child, my mother used to plant a garden. And I always used to go out every morning to see if those sprouts were coming up out of the ground. I always was intrigued with plants. So the gardening, I think, is just naturally built into me. I just enjoy color. I enjoy growth, that type of thing. If I go to animals, my wife loves animals. She has 2 dogs.
Okay.
And I play with them and that type of thing. So I'm not mean to them. But I'd rather have her do all the business with them, and I don't mind playing with them and giving them food.
As long as they stay out of your flowers.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking out right now at a chipmunk on my rocks outside in my garden.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of neat. I've got plants all over the place. But, yeah, I enjoy that. And I also enjoy butterflies.
Okay.
Because quick story with that was when I was a kid, there was a grandmotherly neighbor, and she used to plant a wonderful, colorful garden in the summertime. And I would see these large butterflies. There were probably monarchs and swallowtails and some black with blue spots and this type of thing, and the assorted other smaller white and yellow ones. And they would land on her flowers, and I wanted them because I love them. They look so beautiful and how they fly and the colors. So I went and caught them. In order to save them, I put them in a big coffee can, and I put the lid on them. Of course, you know what happened. They all died.
Yeah.
I was devastated. And the following year after I did that, she barely had any butterflies in her.
Oh, no.
So I decimated the population, and I've always in my heart, everywhere that I've moved to, I try to put flowers in that attracts butterflies.
Oh, okay.
Try to restore the population.
Make it right.
Right. I've got 2 monarch butterflies sitting in a kind of like an aquarium outside my front door right now that I've gotten from eggs to caterpillar to pupa.
Oh, okay.
And now the butterfly itself.
Oh, very nice. Now, your books are perhaps unique for a male author in that they're sort of heavily written from both from a female perspective with female characters and dealing with female issues. Now, I was wondering, how do you approach writing such characters or such stories?
Well, I told you that my career was spent as an OBGYN, obstetrician gynecologist. So if I were to think of how many hours I spent dealing closely with women's issues, that's where it comes from.
Okay.
The whole first story I kept hidden, I wouldn't say hidden, but I guess it would be in my mind for probably 15 to 20 years.
Okay. And that's the unintended, is that right?
Pardon me?
That's the unintended?
That's the unintended, yeah. Are you sure? I didn't think I had the capability of adequately writing the story. And plus I was busy at a medical practice, taking care of patients.
Yeah.
So I've always put it on a back burner. I even tried one time, it's probably close to 10 years ago, I was living in the Chicago area at the time, and of course there's multiple schools there, universities and that type of thing. I located a literature, or an author who was basically still in school, in graduate school. And I said, would you ghost write for me? And he sent me some of his stuff, just to let me take a look at it. Wonderful stuff. But he got too busy. We lost touch with each other. But then when I finally got to Ohio, I worked for about 5 years, and then with a contract with a hospital. And then the contract was up, and then I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I had about a 3-month hiatus that I was going nuts. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And so I said, what the hell? I'll just go ahead and write the book myself. And that's how the first book turned out. I probably finished it in about a 6-month period of time. I had the ideas there.
Yeah.
They've been sitting there. So all I had to do was really names and settings and all that type of stuff, and then go ahead and let it flow, which wasn't always easy.
No.
There's sometimes, I wouldn't call it writer's block. Many people talk about writer's block. I wouldn't call what I had writer's block. Quite amazing, the 2 places that when I would get stuck a little bit in terms of how I wanted to progress, because I think about ways to do it, and it says, I would think, this is running into a dead end. I'm not going to be able to continue going if I go this way. So the 2 places that worked for me, I would pour my bourbon and Coke and sit on my back deck and stare out into my yard with the flowers.
At the butterflies.
And I would relax, and things would just start coming to me. And I'd end up sometimes having a couple different scenarios, and I would try different things to see if they work. The other place that really works for me is taking showers, long, hot showers. Boy, my water bill would be high if I didn't have well water.
So I always find like what people would call writer's block. It usually means I've reached a point where I'm not sure where I want to go or how I want to get there, and so it's more like a crossroads than a block. I always find it sounds like similar sort of thing for you as well.
Yeah, I think I would call it more of that.
Yeah. Now, for anyone who's just discovering a JAKe Hatmacher book, maybe through this or just if for general reasons, what do they expect? What do you get from one of your books?
Well, I guess that sort of leads me into what the books are about. But I can tell you, I had the second book. I decided to do something special in terms of advertising. So I found someone that does blog tours. You're familiar with those?
Yeah.
Okay, so I found someone on the West Coast, and I did that. And she happened to be the final reviewer of my book. And prior to doing this blog tour, I had put my book down in a specific genre. And then, but I wasn't sure that's the exact genre it should be. And why do I say that? Because they have multiple different things in it. It's got, both books have history, and there's a lot of truth in them. There's some paranormal, but not a lot. It's there to accentuate the stories because they're integral to bring the story along.
Okay.
Go through it. There's a lot of family interaction, quarrels, discussions, and that type of thing. So there's interpersonal relationships that are brought out, and discovery, and that type of thing. And I also put a little fantasy in there.
Okay.
But I say that with a little tongue-in-cheek, because the fantasy that I project, probably more so in the second book, you don't know whether in the future we may find out that to be reality.
Fair enough. That's very intriguing indeed. Now, from what I understand, your books, you like to try and educate as well as entertain, I guess. Now, without giving away any spoilers, what's the sort of thing? What are the sort of lessons that you want your readers to come away with?
Well, I don't necessarily want it to sound like I'm preaching.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But as I've said before, that I'm an obstetrician gynecologist. I guess I'll always be an obstetrician gynecologist, even though I'm not practicing right now. But I put information related to that specialty. Okay, and the problems that women fall into, whether medically, for the most part.
Okay.
Okay, and even psychologically too. Okay, but that's part of medicine too. But a lot of people put distinctions between the two. So that kind of information is in there, but it's all wound around the characters' lives.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm giving a treatise on anything. It's built into the story, so it's a natural part of the two heroines' lives. Actually, there's three heroines that I must say. The first book actually has two main characters. Interesting, because I have a character in the 19th century plus a heroine in the 21st century, with the stories mirroring themselves, and also those characters, you find out in the end, affect each other.
Okay.
So, and then the second one is just one heroine, which goes through a lot of searching, finding answers to questions, and that type of thing by the end of the book. And
so
she also finds her true love at the end of the book.
So it sounds a little bit like you can draw upon like the experience that you've had. It gives the characters what they're going through. Like there's more depth to like their issues or their conflicts that are in the book, is what it sounds like.
Well, yeah, definitely. And the conflicts, a lot of times, there's multiple conflicts, to tell you the truth. I mean, again, because the two different heroines in the first book, they have their own conflicts. They have their conflicts with people as well as with ideation, spirituality, paranormality, that type of thing. The second book basically has family interaction, where the character actually has to do with her grandfather, and grandfather, basically, she feels like she's hurt him so bad that they'll never repair the differences, and she hurts so bad that she would like to be able to heal the differences, but she doesn't know how. And then by the end of the book, you find out whether she has or has not.
Okay.
And she has some other things that she's trying to find herself. One of the things she tries to find in herself is her own sexuality. So there's a lot of things in growth in both the first book and the second book.
Now, obviously, as I said, there are the two books. Now, are they linked in any way, or are they completely independent of each other?
Well, when I wrote the first book, I had no intention to link the two books. But when I finished the story, it's sort of like it leaves a question in the reader's mind. At least I tried to leave a question in the reader's mind. And then I went for several months, and I did not even think about writing another book. And then something hit me and said, I've got to write another book. And it takes a character that is born and presented in the epilogue of the first book. So you don't see a lot of that character, but you have some knowledge of who that character is.
Oh, okay.
And then it takes that character as she's no longer a small child or a teenager, where I leave her in the first book. I present her as a young adult.
Okay.
And what she's going through and what she's looking to find.
So would you say, do you have to read The Unintended to get the full benefit of A Secret Lies Deep, or you can read them independently of each other?
You can read them independently of each other, but I can say that if you had read The Unintended first, you might be able to more quickly understand where the main character in the second book is going.
Okay, so what you're saying is that people should definitely get The Unintended first and then move on to A Secret Lies Deep.
If you don't want to have any potential questions as to where the character is going, but I have to say again, if someone just wanted to read A Secret Lies Deep, they'd be okay.
You can, yeah.
In fact, I think I may have put in that book at the end a clip that says if you want to find out more about the early life of the character, they can go to my website.
Okay.
Or read the first book.
So it becomes like a prequel in that case.
Yeah, sort of.
And do you have anything else in the pipeline to tell us about?
Oh gosh, I've had several ideas, but really what's interesting, those ideas just kind of pop into my head, and then I work on them in my head a while, and then sometimes I'll put them down on the computer, but I'm not stirred with them. These two, the books I wrote, I was stirred to do. It was kind of eerie in a way. It would not leave me alone. I had to do it. And the other things that I've been thinking about, they don't disturb me as much in terms of getting it done.
They're not annoying enough yet, so.
I could probably go back to them and get them started, but I have to have something just rile me up a little bit more to do it.
Well, if anything ever does come of those ideas, make sure you come back and talk to us about them. But otherwise, JAKe Hatmacher, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the channel. As I said, welcome back anytime, but thank you for making the time.
Matthew, thank you very much for having me on your, I guess, new program, or a relatively new program.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. So we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Now, to take us out, JAKe has agreed to read a passage from one of his books. Now, if you like what you hear, there is, of course, sales links for his books down in the description below. I urge you to check them out. And, of course, links to his social media are there as well. Now, if you're interested in myself as an author, again, you'll see all the information for me in the description below. And if you are an author yourself and you'd like to appear on the channel, have a chat with me, I don't know why you wouldn't. By all means, drop me an email, shoot me a message on Twitter, and we can get in contact and make that happen for you. But until next episode, I've been Matthew Wooding. Thank you so much for watching, and here is JAKe to take us out with a passage.
While sitting at lunch, Dr. Wren asked the girls what they thought about the tour. Erin repeated the comment she had made to Diana, but also added, I really like that you set this up where all these people are buried. I mean, it really hits home that this is history, that people really lived these lives, and you see them dressed as they had been back then, too. I can speak for myself, Missy, Diana blurted out. I earlier said to her that although this was a beautiful day for this, wouldn't it have been even better if it were dark and rainy? What cemetery isn't better with a little eeriness? I was just kidding, as I know you'd probably get very few people coming on a rainy day. But have you thought about making your actors and actresses look like they've truly risen from their graves to tell their stories? What do you mean, Diana? Asked Dr. Wren. Maybe apply some makeup to make them look like they've been dead for a couple of centuries. I think that would impress visitors in no end. Don't you think we would scare many of them? Dr. Wren asked. I don't mean that you have to make them look ghoulish or anything, only like they've been lying under the ground for a while. Mrs. Wren asked, what's your favorite holiday, Di? Halloween. But Fat Tuesday is right up there too. And with her eyes closed and raised to the heavens, she added, New Orleans, Mardi Gras, Bacchanalia. The Wrens were staring at Diana after her last comment until she said, you do know I'm originally from New Orleans. They all laughed as Matthew Wren said, all right, we get it now. Switching the subject, Holly asked, are you two enjoying the restaurant? Yeah, thanks for recommending the combo. It was very tasty and just enough to get me through our research this afternoon. Party pooper, Diana exclaimed. I was so enjoying this until you mentioned the research we have to do. She turned toward Matthew and Holly and said, thanks for the wonderful morning, and the weather couldn't have been better. Holly and Matthew smiled. On Diana's and Erin's walk back to their car, Di said to Erin, work, 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 work. They followed Dr. Wren to the museum on a different route than they had taken previously. Erin was driving and she recognized some of the roads from earlier in the day. She started to feel her feeling again, and she blurted out, I feel it again. Diana noticed the cemetery approaching up to on their left. She asked, isn't this about where you had that feeling and vision earlier today, Erin? Erin didn't respond. Diana looked at Erin only to see a blank stare, and then a blast from a horn pierced Diana's ears. They were veering into traffic in the opposite lane. She frantically grabbed the wheel, but couldn't slow down since Erin's foot held steady pressure on the gas pedal. Diana yelled, Erin, Erin, slow down. Erin slowly emerged from her reverie, but she still had her foot on the gas. Erin, please slow down, Diana pleaded again. Erin looked at her, not understanding, but she could see Diana trembling. Damn it, take your foot off the gas. Erin did, and the car gradually slowed. Diana guided the car to the shoulder. Dr. Wren had pulled over when he noticed the girl's car veering from the lane, and he now caught back up with them. Is everything all right? What happened back there? Diana explained that Erin had lost control of the car for a few seconds and she seemed to be in a trance again. Did you see that vision again, Erin? Asked Diana. Erin, still emerging from her fog, nodded that she had. Di, I think you'd better drive from now on, cautioned Dr. Wren. Without arguing, Erin gave Diana the keys and they continued to the museum.